So when you joined IMA, and you have been credited with a lot of things. The way you got the whole institution evolved after you joined. Uh, what were your immediate hurdles, or what were the immediate tasks at hand?
I was in my mid 40s when I joined as the head of IMA. Like I said, I was the first woman director general, I think, of any association. I think what I inherited was great. I inherited a very solid organization from my predecessors. We were financially very sound. We had excellent people. We did excellent work. But I think we didn't really market ourselves well. When I joined IMA, I made sure I didn't bring about any major changes because I didn't want my colleagues to think that, here comes a new broom and she's here to sweep everything clean and she thinks that she knows it all and we've been working here for so long. So for 6 months, I did nothing. I never told them that don't do it this way. I just showed an alternate way of doing things. And very bright people in IMA, wonderful staff, wonderful secretariat, they saw that way worked and they adapted it.
I know a lot of people at IMA, people who work for you, and they swear by you. So tell me, what are your leadership qualities?
I think what has helped me is something which I believe in, that for me, my staff comes first. Even when I joined, I wanted to gain the trust of my staff because I'm a firm believer that, a single person cannot bring about change. By myself, I'm not simply capable of bringing about change. I need the entire organization with me. So I actually genuinely feel that all my staff are like my family. So I think as a leader, you have to make sure that you carry your team with you. Second, you need to have the, confidence in yourself and that security, that secure feeling that your staff is not competing with you. If you build them up, they can only help you going forward. They'll help you, they'll help the organization. But if you try and hold everything close to your chest and say that, I'm not going to share anything because somebody else might be brighter than me, then you can't run an organization. So I think for a leader, it is very important to delegate. Very difficult to do because you have certain standards. Not everybody can, work up to those standards. But at times you have to let go. You have to choose your battles. Third, I think while you have a certain relationship with your staff and you have a lot of empathy with them, you cannot lose sight of your goal. You have a certain, you need to make sure that your financial goals and your work goals are taken care of. So there can be no let up in that. And like I said earlier, I think I have a fantastic team.
Yeah, you did mention, basically, if I had to just make a mental note, you mentioned trust, you mentioned delegate. It's most difficult thing to do, yes, which is autonomy. And the last thing you mentioned is empathy.
Let me add one more very important point which a leader should have: decisiveness. I think a leader who doesn't take decisions, because you frankly can't be right 100% of the time. You will be wrong sometime, but you create a worse chaos when you don't take a decision, when you're scared of taking a decision.
30 years of interacting with industry leaders. What are the things that you picked up? What are the things that you learned?
Oh, it shaped my entire personality. One thing I'd like to say, Raj, that, while you're dealing with CEOs and you're dealing with very senior people, I think I always had my feet on the ground. I never, for me, it was a great learning experience because making sure that I delivered to their satisfaction was not easy. But if you did that, you had achieved something. But I always kept, I think, a certain distance, you can say, between my members and myself, because I felt as a professional, I needed to keep that distance. But having said that, I think what I've learned from them is how to run an organization, which I'm running now. I believe that, you cannot move forward, you cannot do well in life without people supporting you, without it being a team effort.
What is the composition of women members in your association at the moment? I'm not talking about the people working in IMA, I'm talking about your
Oh,
members.
that's a big challenge. I've only had one past president in Preeta Reddy, who was a woman. It is an issue because, let's face it, unfortunately, there aren't that many women at that level. When we do these conferences, I get very frustrated because while we are trying to get women on board, you have to make sure that, you keep to a certain level. So while we have, like I said, I've been called out on that, and I have actually taken that feedback very seriously. And now we have started ensuring that we make a separate list of possible women speakers, and we have enough women speakers. It is an issue because there aren't that many at the top.
So coming back to this whole thing about not enough leaders in top position in companies, what is IMA doing to influence companies saying that this is something that they need to look at? This is something that needs to be done because you have to have women. We all speak about women empowerment and we speak about diversity and inclusion and things like that. But what is IMA since you're a management organization, what are you doing? I mean, to influence in this area?
So what IMA does is, apart from our education vertical and our testing vertical, we do a lot of events and conferences. We do research. So as far as events are concerned, like I mentioned to you, we are trying to make sure that we have women participate in that. We have separate events focused on what issues women may be facing when they are working. We are also doing research with different organizations on how it helps a company to do better, to have more women on board, because I think ultimately a company looks at its bottom line. And it has been proved again and again that having women directors on boards and more women working in an organization actually adds to the bottom line. So I think you can't really hit somebody on the head with it and say that you need to have women, but I think you need to work and continue working on proving to them that having more women on board and having more women working for you makes business sense.